as long as you're on program. Guys, the next week, what we're doing next time is we're going to get an idea. We're going to take a look at our macros, and we're going to figure out, excuse me, not macros yet. We're going to take a look at our food, and we're going to figure out what are we eating, what's going in our body. We're going to start to weigh and measure this stuff. Here's how we're going to weigh and measure it. Protein, we want to know the ounces, the weight in ounces that protein is going in your mouth. Carbs, we want to know cups of carbs, down to roughly the quarter cup if you can. Fats, we're going to do in teaspoons. That's a teaspoon, not a tablespoon, big difference. And veggies, ballpark the number of cups. And veggies you can just measure in whole cups. We don't need to take that down to the quarter cup. Now, how are we going to do this? A food scale is necessary for the protein in terms of ounces. Unless you've done some serious dieting before, or you do drug distribution, we probably need to buy a scale. Don't spend a lot on a scale. Something that just goes down to the tenths of ounces is plenty. You don't need something ultra scientific. I wouldn't spend more than 20 bucks at Target on something like that. As far as cups of carbs, simple set of measuring cups, and then a simple set of measuring spoons here should do pretty well for us. And we just want to get an idea. And so when you come back next week, I want to be in a position where I can say, Zach, what are you eating? And Zach comes back to me with an answer that's like, seems like I'm getting kind of 5 ounces of protein at each meal, give or take. I'm getting like a cup of carbs or something. I've got like about a tablespoon of fat and like a cup, maybe cup and a half of veggies at every meal. Not that those are the right numbers, but to be able to have an idea of what's going in your body is going to be fantastic. And that's going to allow us to transition into weighing and measuring to get specific amounts of these things going in our body. So 2 things going on here. 1, we're going to get an idea of what's happening right now. And 2, we're going to get in the habit of weighing and measuring. And so weighing and measuring is great. If you guys go to an office to work, that's weigh and measure. Put it in the container. Take it with you. Weigh and measure. Eat it. And just if you want to write it down or just get an idea, that's fantastic. But we got to start weighing and measuring that stuff. And the goal is to be able to have that conversation next week. Be like, man, I didn't realize I was only getting like 2 ounces of protein at every meal. Or like, wow, I'm getting like 9 ounces of protein at every meal. Something like that. Just get an idea. And again, don't worry about fitting to your meal plan. We just want to understand what's going on and build the habit of getting the scale out, the measuring spoons out, the measuring cups out.
Measure way before or after it's cooked?
Post-cook. Good question. Yeah. We're measuring lean proteins always post-cooking, not pre-cooking.
So for fats like olive oil, when I'm baking my potatoes, I pour it on there and kind of mix it all up. It's a good way of just measuring every time I pour it in there and just assuming per portion that's how much I've used, or like what's a good way of measuring that?
Yeah, so that's kind of an interesting question. And so is it negligible? So are you doing like a tablespoon of coconut oil in like 4 cups of potatoes? One might say that that's pretty close to negligible. Or is it like a tablespoon of oil in like a cup or 2 cups of something where it's going to be like, okay, there's half a tablespoon in both of those servings? Kind of a good question. So is it, if you're looking at it and you're like, I should probably measure that, you're probably right. And so, you know, if you feel like you should measure that, do it. But if you're like, I've got 1/16 of a teaspoon of fat in each of these cups of rice that I have, it's probably going to be negligible. So, and the easy way to do it is, if you're used to cooking things with a lot of fat, just stop. It's going to be a little bit different. It'll cook a little bit differently. It may not be nice and crispy like you're used to, or it may not be as tasty as you're used to. But leaving the fat to add afterwards will make you far more accurate with your measurements. Any other questions? Fantastic, guys. So, sticking to our previous habits, we've got to go 4 times a day of eating. Stick to roughly the same measurements: palm of protein, 2 fists of carbs on rest days, 4 on training days, thumbs of fat at every meal, and then fill the plate with veggies. Guys, keep up the good habits as far as frequency and food quality. Again, trying to pull out all those things that we talked about last week. pulling the alcohol, the dairy, the sugars, the wheat, the processed foods out, all that. And then we'll start to see some pretty good results here. Guys, next week is a big week. Next week is when we start to get our meal plans, and that's when we really start to dial in. It's probably one of the most challenging pieces, but also one of the most rewarding as we start to see your body weight change and shift in the direction that you want. We're also going to see some performance gains and stuff like that. Which kind of brings me to the last one. Is anybody feeling a little different in the gym? What are you feeling?
Pretty good. Not as sluggish, stronger.
Not as sluggish, feeling stronger? Good?
I used to dip with energy around midday, and with that second lunch, it kind of levels out nicely. So when I come to the gym, I'm already like ready to go.
Good. You're an evening workout guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good sign that you've got relatively even blood sugar throughout the day. Good, well-controlled blood sugar is a great sign. Awesome. Anything else you guys want to chat about? Fantastic, guys.
What's a healthy amount of weight loss per week? Like when have you gone too far?
So we'll talk more specifically about that when we get our meal plans back, but a little bit of a preview. Not uncommon for people to lose 1 to 1.5% of your total body weight per week. So that can be a good range to be in. It can be done slower. We don't usually recommend faster. But yeah, if you're up around 2% of your body weight per week, chances are there's going to be some downside to that rate of weight loss. That being said, the initial week of this stuff, you guys are going to see changes that are probably outside that range for some of you. And that's okay, because as we get away from certain foods and we start changing our eating habits, there can be some fluid loss from your body as inflammation starts to flush out of your body. And so there can be an initial, if you're looking at a chart, there can be an initial drop, and then things start to level out and it moves much slower. So one, if you saw a big drop in the first week, don't get excited that that's going to continue every week, because it won't. And also don't be afraid that you're losing weight too fast, because most of that is probably just water and fluid from inflammation leaving your body. It can be other things as well, but typically first week falls outside of our recommended ranges, and then as we start to dial in the meal plan, we really hone in on how fast and how much. Anything else, guys? Lizzie?
I know we talked about some like the carbonated waters and stuff last week. How do you feel about fruit infused waters? We're avoiding fruit, kind of, but is fruit infused water same?
I'm sorry, what is it? Fruit what?
Fruit infused water. So if you're soaking a bunch of strawberries in your water to kind of get that flavor.
Fruit infused water. I think that's going to be okay. Assuming you're not blending the fruit into the water. Okay. Yeah, I'm okay with it. Yeah, something similar to like a sparkling water that's flavored with orange or something like that. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be okay. Yeah, doing a little like cucumber water or something like that.
That's what I'm thinking about. Just mix it up.
Yeah, that's great. Or something like an orange or a citrus flavored sparkling water, something like that. If anybody's a soda hound in here, I'm a notorious soda hound, and so the sparkling water really does it for me. It's the effervescence that my body is really craving, not so much the soda itself. So that can be real helpful.
What about like smart waters and stuff like that?
Smart water doesn't really have anything in it. It's just water. Yeah, it's not that. It's not really that smart. Yeah.
Not smart water. Sorry. Vitamin water. Thank you.
Careful with vitamin water. Vitamin water is probably out, because vitamin water has a significant amount of sugar in it.
Going off the drink.
But like LaCroix and those kinds of things, right, is more of what we're talking about. Not a lot of...
Right. Yeah, LaCroix is fine. LaCroix is, wonderful product, made in Wisconsin, right there in the Midwest.
What about coconut water?
Coconut water's typically got a ton of sugar in it, so that's probably out.
Yeah. Go to potassium.
Yeah.
Have you had people complain about mood changes because there's lack of sugar in their diet, or adjusting their diet to something more clean?
Yeah.
And I think my other question was, having anything about unsettled stomachs because of the increased use of fiber.
Yes. Yeah. So so it's funny. We actually had an athlete for a while here. He had a several-year tenure in this gym. He was a previous heroin addict, and he said that quitting sugar was harder. So yeah, I don't know that that's necessarily true, but it certainly can be challenging, and so quitting sugar, certainly there can be some withdrawal effects there, just like quitting caffeine or quitting drinking or something like that. So stay with it. Yeah, it'll go away quickly.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
And as far as like changes throughout your through your gut, if we're changing the inputs to your digestive tract, obviously there's going to be some gut flora changes in there. There's a ton of biology that's living in your intestines that helps you digest your food, and this can be either really beneficial to you or maybe kind of working against you. And so as we change our food intakes, there's going to be some die-off, there's going to be some other strains coming in, and there's going to be some change there. If you guys have persistent digestive issues, come talk to me individually, and there's some stuff we can do to kind of help shore that up and make that change happen a little bit more painlessly. But yeah, it should kind of normalize quickly. Yeah, but there initially, your digestive tract may be like, what's all these veggies? I'm not used to this. What are we doing? Yeah.
So if you do fall off, like, commitments, social commitments, you fall off, like, hey, I had no good option for lunch, I wasn't able to food prep, would you recommend, like, still eating the rest of the meals normal or cutting back on something else?
Yep. First of all, don't go hard in the paint. Like there's a difference between like being like, I don't have any good options. Bring me that sundae. Bring me that pizza. And like trying to do the best you can at the time. And then yes, follow your meal plan. Immediately jump back on plan. Don't worry about trying to adjust it. That does two things. One, if you're always constantly trying to adjust your meal plan because you're always going off of it a little bit, you're not on a meal plan. And then, two, it kind of like encourages you at that meal, chill out. Do what you can. If you can't control it, don't stress about it. Don't worry about it. Do the best that you can. Don't stress. And then get back on plan afterwards. And that mentally will help you really be like, yep, I'm doing it. I didn't have a choice here, but I did my best and I'm back on plan now. And mentally that'll help you continue the habits and stay confident in what you're doing. Awesome, guys. If you have other questions or stuff you want to see me individually with, you can come do that afterwards. If not, I'll see you guys next week, 7:30, right here. Thanks, guys.